Hello guys, what is going on? Sand Creek Aquatics, top of the morning to you, sir. It looks like you're number one. Nothing new there, right, Nathan? Is that volume a little hot? Hey, Rodders, what is up? Don't know. Okay, let's see. Showing technical difficulty. Hey, what's going on, Anthony's fishy friends? Have you guys got AV? I'm not getting a good monitor response from the YouTubes. There I am. Okay. Hey. From the YouTube. New bat channel, new bat time. You be quiet up there. Okay, there you go. Don't listen to the lag. Don't need the lag coming back to visit. Oh man, I got hot and cold drinks going. Notifications lagging, huh? Well, I'm glad you guys showed up. It is the morning here in beautiful downtown Mountain Home, Tennessee. Thanks for dropping in. We've got a fun show lined up today. I hope you enjoyed the thumbnail. Daryl Deemer's in the house. Hey, bro, how's it going? I did a new title for the live stream. We're still going to be the Community Tank Live. That's who we are. It's what we do. Thirsty Rabbit's in the house. Good day, mate. Fish Barn, the Fish Tank Barn is lurking. Hey, Mike. Glad you can hang out in the background, lurking and working. Yeah, we're still the tankers. We're just trying out some new things here. It's a new day we're living in. And I wanted to do a new format of a live stream that allowed us to leave the content up as like another informative video instead of just a social time. It is a social time. We're going to enjoy chatting and talking about fish in outer space. Pretty cool. I won't lie. It's going to be a pretty fun little book report we get into here later. But I think that has more archival quality in the video library than something that comes across as just a social time. And I know every time we get together, we learn things and we talk about more than just chit chat. We've got some structure, some organization. But definitely I'd gotten lazy on the thumbnail and just repeated the thumbnail like we had a brand or a label, which we do, and it's good. It's all good. But I am trying to grow the YouTube channel for our benefit. There are benefits that come along with channel growth, with community growth, and you guys know what I'm talking about. Goose Knot Maverick, Griffin Fish Room. I see you guys. I see some people saying hello to people I didn't see come in. Sorry. Redfish, Bluefish, Science Gal Aquatics. Hello. Yeah, so just kind of a little bit of polish, if you will, just rebranding the live stream so that it has archival quality that could draw people in that weren't a part of the social aspect. They can still enjoy the replay. And I hope that those watching the replay, especially if it's the first time checking out a Community Tank live stream, that they'll get this far into the video, this many seconds in, to understand, hey, this is what we're going for. It's for you on the replay as we enjoy our social time live. Does that make sense? It's perfectly ordered in my head. I have no idea what was heard. You know, there's the thing that's said and the thing that's heard, and even though it's the same words, it could be two different things. So you guys let me know if that made any sense. We may come back to it. But today we are going to talk about My Fish Went to Space. So we can start off with the little guessing game. You saw the thumbnail. What were your thoughts? When you saw the thumbnail, My Fish Went to Space? Well, it could be clickbait. No doubt about that. Could be clickbait. Me working the metadata. That may have been your thought. What about if you thought, well, okay, cool. Maybe he had a fish that went to space. What fish were you thinking? What fish were you thinking I had that went to space if you bought into the thumbnail? Right, Sand Creek Aquatics, everybody loves live streaming. It's a feel good, and it's so much more fun than doing videos. Hands down, it is. But I talked to these YouTube gurus, and they all agree that if you want to grow your channel, if that's your goal, and it is mine, and it has been, spread the word, grow a community, get concerned about conservation together, enjoy nature and the art that we derive from it. We're going to build a community that way. We already have. We're going to make it stronger. And so the gurus teach, man, you got to lay down some edited content, no matter how unfun that is. Rodders 1203 hitting the nail on the head with guess number one. It's the zebra danio. That's my fish that went to space. Now, it's not the fish in my collection that went to space. Those fish are part of a scientific experiment. I might not want to know what happened to them. But they did go to outer space. And they're not the only aquanauts. There have been other aquanauts in space, which means that the astronauts in space are fish keepers. They're maintaining an aquarium in space. This sunk in just recently. I'd heard that they did research on fish in space before. I wasn't even sure if they were alive. They were alive. Aquariums in outer space. That is so cool. The thought of it just kind of, it expands my hobby, knowing that these fish aren't limited to their life on Earth. They've been places I may never go. So I'm looking into this. I want to know about the fish. What'd you do in space? Did you see any Martians? Was there a party time, or was it all business? So I'm studying up on the fish, the aquanauts, the astronaut fish keepers. How'd they clean their tanks? Did they have a problem with algae? I've got all the questions. Well, they've been sending fish to space for decades. And if this sounds like a book report, kind of like it is. I don't know any of the astronauts. I just figured out that I keep the zebra danio and it went to space. So, yeah, every time I learn something new, I didn't know it before. And the first time that I regurgitate the new information is the first time that I'm able to use it. So it's like riding a bike, a little wobbly at first. Yeah, so if this comes across as a book report, whatever. I guess it is. Yeah, lots of questions, Carrie, Science Gal. So, and just, if you'll Google this after the stream, just Google fish in space, you're going to see several species have been in space. If you haven't Googled that yet, what would your next guess be? What other fish do you think have made it to space? Any other fish come to mind? Because I know of at least two more, and I would not have guessed either one. I was aware that on Earth, the zebra danio, and danios in particular, have some qualities that make them favorite research subjects. So that made sense. But the other two that I'm aware of, I would have never guessed. Thirsty Rabbit, we're definitely going to talk about your question. Thirsty Rabbit, thanks to you joining us from down under. It's probably a weird hour over there. I mean, I was in a live stream in Australia last night. It was like middle of the afternoon there, and I've got one eye already asleep trying to stay awake on the live stream because it was so early in the morning here. Yep, so could the water float downwards if there's no gravity? It's so cool to learn the answers. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to tell you. It is really cool. Yep, Sand Creek Aquatics got it. Nathan, good guess or good research. Yeah, Madeca, the Japanese rice fish. Yep, they did it. And I want to say there were eggs involved also. They sent I'm going to get my fish mixed up here, but in if not all the cases, they sent juvenile fish and eggs, and the eggs hatched in space in the little Aquanauts aquarium. This is so fascinating. On the the International Space Station, there is an aquatic habitat. Okay, an aquarium. Can you imagine the rig? It's an aquarium for a zero gravity environment. And when you see pictures of it, you'll be like, whoa, I want that. I was seriously considering, how can I rig something up for a video that looks like that? That is a cool, I mean, it's not fancy. It's total utilitarian. And the fact that, the only thing that's actually cool about it is knowing that it's in outer space. It's in a zero gravity environment. But for some reason, I wanted to recreate it in my garage and make a video about it. Hey, look, Billington, how's it going? Water changes were fun. Hey, they had to do them. This is cool stuff. So all of a sudden, we have all of these things. It's mundane. We know all about keeping fish and feeding fish and changing water and setting up aquariums. Then you throw this wrench in the thought process. What if there were zero gravity? It's this fun day of research. It was for me. I hope you guys enjoy this as we go along. They did it. They fed the fish. Can you imagine? We are so conditioned to hold the food over the tank, release the food, watch the food hit the surface of the water, and then fall through the water if it's a sinking food. And then there's no gravity. What are you going to do? You're going to hand feed them all? You're going to stick your astronaut glove down in the tank and let the fish eat out of your fingers? I don't know. Oh, the questions. I love this research. It was so much fun. 2 a.m. Thursday morning down under. Whew. Yeah, we're going to go here for about an hour, Thirsty Rabbit. So you feel free to take a nap if you need to, or otherwise you're going to be up to about 3. Tight lids, quick hands. That's a nice visual for an astronaut. You got to get loose. Oh, got to feed the fish. Stretch it. All right. Ready? On 3. That'd be a good cartoon. Oh, did they have live plants? Nope, they didn't. And the reason was it was a study on the fish, and they needed to have visibility of the fish all of the time. That's the major reason they chose the species, the rice fish and the danio. They could get images better from these fish. The rice fish, the Japanese group, Japanese Space Agency, JAXA, took the Medica, the Japanese rice fish. They were mostly transparent. And those fish, along with the zebra danio, were used in bone density study in microgravity environments. And they found that, just as a matter of fact, they found the anatomy of the fish responded as far as bone density, much the same as humans. So they were hoping to learn a bit more about how the bone density changes to apply to how it would affect a human in space. They got some good data, as I understand. I didn't read the report. And all of these clips usually are justifying the expense and the effort. So I don't know if they got anything that would make sense to me or not, but I'm glad they did the study. I'm glad they went to the expense. The zebra danio as a community tank fish, I love it. I keep it. I'm actually conditioning a group now for a breeding project. I've got a little holdup. If you guys can help me out here, the holdup on my zebra danio breeding project is I don't have any infusoria going. I did have a failed attempt to make some before I went on a trip, and I haven't set up the attempt again. So how are you guys handling infusoria for small egg-laying fry? I mean, my female zebra danios are fat. It's going to be a cool video. And the only thing that's holding us up here is lack of food for the fry. So I need to get some fry food going. What do you guys recommend? Has somebody done a video on making infusoria? And the videos that I have watched, you could be weeks out, right? So got to get that going on. It looks like my chat has either frozen I've lost you guys. I haven't seen a comment since Thirsty Rabbit's tight lids, quick hands. Somebody say hello so I know we're still rocking. Let me try. Okay. All right. My comment went through. Thirsty Rabbit had a vision of a Star Wars theme tank with zebras. There you go. All right. Thank you guys. We're still going. Still be calm. Be calm and zebra fish on. Okay, so yeah, if you got any ideas, you can send me a link later or whatever. Thanks, Rodders. I needed to get some infusoria going to feed these zebra fry. In the meantime, they're hanging out in a couple of different community tanks, getting along with everybody. I think they've always been one of my favorite fish. They are my white cloud minnow. I didn't get introduced as a young aquarist to the white cloud mountain minnow. I got introduced to the zebra danio. Loved them. Blue stripes racing all over the tank. Oh, so cool. So they stick with me as a good memory, a good fish. Usually I have them. I think my longest lived one was only about 3 years, maybe 4 years. That was cool. The zebra danios usually outlived the tank. I usually would tear the tank down and upsize or move it or whatever, and the zebras would be one of the first fish in and still be doing well when the tank got rearranged. L-Box 88, what is going on? No, they can't, L-Box 88. I wouldn't have a problem making live brine shrimp, but they're too small. They're too small. So it's got to be some fry food that is smaller, and they say it takes a good while for the fry to get large enough to eat baby brine shrimp. So that's the dilemma. And infusoria is the easy answer. It's just time consuming, and I've had a failed attempt, so I don't want to get mid-project, and then have a problem providing food that the fry can eat. Morgan Woods listening. Thanks. I appreciate that. Thanks for hanging out. We're talking about fish in outer space. We've talked about 2 fish in outer space that have been studied on the International Space Station. Okay, so that means that an aquarium of temporary nature was loaded up on a space rocket. So you had the astronauts, and I love this word, aquanauts. So you had aquanauts. The fish on a spaceship, on a rocket. They're launched into outer space. Then the rocket hooks up with the International Space Station. A little bit of math involved there. What do you think? And then they're transported, just like they went to the LFS, got these fish, which they didn't. They were raised in a lab. And there was also a control group, like part of the same group was left on Earth. The aquarium appears, if you watch the vids, you get deep enough into it, the aquarium appears to be the same, but it's definitely suited for a zero gravity environment. So the control group stays on Earth. The aquanauts board the spaceship, launched into space. The spaceship hooks up with the International Space Station, and then the astronauts come off of the spaceship with a bag of fish, just like they've come from the LFS, and say, hey to everybody, and everybody grabs the bottom of their bag, and they peer in. Oh, look at those fish. Oh, man, those are the blue stripy ones. and for real, we have fish in outer space. So I'm not exactly sure how the transfer went. How did they acclimate? Is the temperature controlled from the entire journey, and then I don't know. I didn't see the transfer. Hey, check out Golden Pearl. I'll sure do it. All right. See, there's the tip, community. Mike Howe, the fish tank barn, he breeds freshwater and saltwater fish, live bears, and egg layers. Great guy. Growing his YouTube channel. If you haven't discovered the Fish Tank Barn, go over there. And if you have discovered it and you haven't seen it in a while, dude made some immediate changes this week. He's putting videos on the moon. This guy has amped up his game. I'm just going to tell you, it's worth a look. Go look at the Fish Tank Barn when we get finished here. You can do it now. Click the 3 little dots beside the Fish Tank Barn where it says go to channel. Go over there, subscribe if you haven't, click like on a video, then come back in here and let's hang out for a minute. And then we can go over and watch the video that we liked. Minoxky Tanks, good morning, welcome aboard. The Secret History Living in Your Aquarium has something on that for you. Also, I believe Mark's Aquarium has one as well. Okay. All right. So they're talking about making some infusoria. We'll do that. We're talking about getting zebra danios on the International Space Station in an aquarium designed for a zero gravity environment. The what did I say they call that thing? The aquatic environment. Crazy. Okay, so let's talk about that for a minute. I've got zebra danios, kept them for years. They last for years. Oh, by the way, I'd say let's go ahead and do a species profile. Let's just run down. You're welcome, Mike. Hey, Zen Ginger, thanks for dropping in. I appreciate that. Let's do a species profile on the zebra danio. So common, I'm just going to take for granted everyone knows what this is. It's a beautiful small fish, minnow-shaped, torpedo-shaped. Long silver stripes parallel to the length of the body, blue stripes. The males are a little more vibrant, more deeply and boldly colored than the females. You have to look really close to, I guess wrong several times each time I try to separate a batch. Little bit of difference there. Just a hardy fish, fast swimming fish, usually gets along with the other fish. I've always kept them in a small school in my community tanks. And the temperature of my tanks vary. It's a little warmer if there's a betta in there. I think some species that counts I saw were like they had the maximum temperature. They had a pretty low temperature, like they could go without a heater, like 68 to 74 degrees. But 74, that's a little cool for most tropical fish tanks. I know any tank that I drop a heater in, you're looking at 76 to 78. So, and they're fine at that temperature in my experience. So they get up to 3 inches long, and 68 to 74 degrees is recommended. I go warmer often on the Fahrenheit scale. They're from Asia, Pakistan, so that Asian band of tropical Asia. They've been bred in captivity easily. People often use them as a feeder fish. They raise the fry for their predator fish. I don't recommend that. I'd love them as a pet. But, I mean, if you're going to keep predator fish and you have to feed them, raising your own fry is the way to go. I don't recommend it. It makes the fish more aggressive and less of a pet quality. And if you can get them to switch them over to pellets or something, some dry food, everyone's life is easier. Or worms or crustaceans or something like that. Oh, I love these fish so much. It's hard to think of them as feeder food. That's all. I'm not trying to judge you if you do that. I'm just expressing my appreciation for the fish. So, let's see. I can't read my notes that far away. Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Nepal, Myanmar, Bhutan. Okay, that's where we would expect. No surprise. All right, look at it on a map. That's where they are. They're over there. But what is a surprise in the research, I went to not about the space part, but about the species profile part. I looked at the USGS website, and they've got a really cool section on fish, United States Geological Survey, usgs.gov. And they had invasive accounts in the U.S., and this little zebra danio was showing up all over the place. Thanks for the reminder on that like, by the way. Do we have any likes? Got 21 watching now. Thank you guys for dropping in. This is a new time for the community tank. It's a new brand. It's a new format. So I really appreciate you being here. You guys are the guinea pigs. And it's funny I said that because scientific reference, scientific experiment subjects is the topic today. My fish went to outer space. We are broadcasting live from the beautiful downtown Mountain Home, Tennessee. Very fortunate in these times to have beautiful surrounding of natural activity. Bird migration is here. I've got a bird nest being built on my front porch. I'm getting through. I'm fine. I hope you guys are. Hey, what's going on, Susie Q? I think hanging out, a little bit of social time is good for us. Yeah, you don't have to feel all cooped up. Glad you're able to do that. Q Aquatics, lurking and working. Q is also ramping up her YouTube game. You guys hit that channel. Go check out Q Aquatics and look at the changes that she's made just recently, expanding her channel. You guys need to get on board. Hit those 3 little dots by Q Aquatics. Subscribe to her channel. Figure out one of her videos you want to go watch as soon as we're finished here. Candy Overholes is here. Hey, buddy. How you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for showing up. It's early out there where you are, Candy. I know. About 9 o'clock. It's 11:27 here. It's 9:27 out there in the West. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, I got you. I got your ear, Candy, while you do those emails. I appreciate you saying hello. Jay in Aquarium, thanks for stopping by. That's right. That's right. We're being socially responsible, yet we're having a ball. Here we all are. Yeah, we're virtually holding hands and jumping up and down in a little circle together. We're having so much fun. And so we're about to talk about the USGS report. I love that they do this. The USGS is reporting invasive accounts of the zebra danio in the United States. So this fish, as it turns out, was discovered in California, Florida. No surprise. Anybody surprised yet? No surprise. New Mexico. And this last one, this is the gotcha. What? Connecticut. I mean, yeah, that thing can live in an unheated aquarium, but Connecticut? I don't know. So further research showed that it didn't establish in Connecticut. It was what they would refer as a failed establishment. And probably the people sampling just happened to be at the right place at the right time. And the only logical explanation they could assign to that discovery was it was probably an aquarium release. Somebody tired of keeping fish just went someplace and turned their fish loose. And that someplace was the same place the researchers went to do some biological sampling. So it didn't establish in Connecticut, but I think it's so cool that the zebra danio was found in the wild in Connecticut. And so as far as the New Mexico fish were concerned, I think they went to the same location and found it at least 2 or 3 times between 1992 and 2003. And they removed the fish. Once they found it, they removed it. So it's now reported as a fish discovered in New Mexico but extirpated, which means that it had established a feral population by whatever means it got started, and now they removed it. Okay? Gone. So it was there, could live there, now it doesn't. All right, and you guys understand when you're talking about a fragile ecosystem, that introducing an invasive species is not healthy for the existing ecosystem. The system can adjust and go on, but it won't be the same. And sometimes you can have catastrophic failure in the adaptation, because the ecosystem that naturally occurs, one thing feeds another thing and everything lives in harmony and develops its own space. Well, you throw an invasive in there, and now the invasive doesn't have the same predators, doesn't have the same limits on its appetite maybe, and everything shifts radically, and you can get a decline that's difficult for a gradual changing of the guard, so to speak. And the decline can be a crash. And during the crash, if it's a sensitive habitat with endangered or very limited range species, you could wipe out a whole species just by having an invasive in the mix. I'm not trying to use scare tactics here. I'm just telling you how nature works and how important it is not to release our fish in local bodies of water. They don't belong there. They're not going to be happy there, and the natives are not going to be happy that you put them there. Don't do that. Rehome your fish to responsible fish keepers and spread the word. Remind your local fish store to remind its customers, don't release the fish in the wild. Florida is having major problems, especially South Florida. You got invasive species, devastating. Okay, enough bad news. Don't let your fish go in native waters. And the zebra danio, not only is it in my aquarium and outer space, apparently it's many places in between. That was the idea there. The range of this fish is from Connecticut to outer space, but mostly in tropical Asia. It's a cool fish. It's omnivorous, peaceful, colorful. Reports say 6 to 7 pH. I don't chase the pH, and they're tough. Those rascals have lived every time. I've never had a failed batch of zebra danio. Knocking on wood. You might lose a fish here and there, some to old age, but those guys have never complained about the water. Now, they race around. They're the first to feed. They develop a personality. They're kind of like a really quick goldfish. They'll dart back and forth in one little spot of the aquarium when they see you. Feed me, feed me, feed me, feed me, feed me, feed me. Anyway, love them. Love these little guys. One of the most popular aquarium fish, probably because of availability and price. I haven't highlighted my shirt yet. This is a Primetime Aquatics shirt. You guys go over there and check out Jason at Primetime Aquatics. He gave me this shirt. Actually, his wife did. Mrs. Primetime gave me this shirt at Aquatic Experience. I really appreciate it. I think it's a sharp shirt. I like the way he does his graphic. It's a good brand. Latin name on the zebra danio is Danio ririo, first described by a naturalist named Hamilton in 1822. This rascal, it's been around for a long time. We've known about it for a long time. It's a hardy beginner fish, formerly known as the Brachydanio ririo. I'm not sure when they changed the Latin classification there. It's one of the most popular aquarium fish. Shimmering metallic colors. It's got that going for it. 10-gallon minimum is recommended. I concur with that. And it loves to hang out at all tank levels. So it's going to fill up the space like a gas. Whatever tank you put it in, it's going to go there. Okay, so we know, I don't know why that was held. We know, yeah, there it is. Okay. We know how the fish behaves in our aquariums. How does it behave in outer space? Thirsty Rabbit was all over this earlier, like, oh, can they swim? How they eat? How they feed? So, the deal is, a fish in water in zero gravity doesn't know which way is up. It swims in like an oval loop, just looping sideways. And it doesn't know if it's looping up or it's trying to figure out how to swim. So let me read a big word to you. Vestibular righting. Okay, that's orienting yourself to right side up because gravity is tugging on your inner ear. Vestibular righting. We know our balance is based on signals given by gravity to our inner ear. Are you with me on that? That's not too complicated. In zero gravity, that inner ear signal goes away. There's no tug. And it's like, I don't know. How do I orient? So the fish have no idea how to orient. So they're swimming laps. Looks like they're upside down. Or are the astronauts in the space station upside down? Nobody knows. There's no gravity. And it causes humans to be very nauseous. So you don't see the first few days of astronauts aboard the International Space Station because they're busy puking. Basically, it's a seasickness. The waves on the ocean also upset our balance in our inner ear, and it makes us seasick. Same thing happens in space. So after it takes about 3 days, I read, 3 or 4 days, all that calms down. So on the third day, about the same day the astronauts quit puking, the fish are found all oriented the same way. And the way that they're oriented is with their backs toward the light. Okay? So they're doing this photo impact orientation. I think there's a word for that. Wait a minute. Yep. Phototrophic orientation. They put their backs to the light. Makes sense. The light's the sun. Now they know instinctively which food to look for, where the light comes from, which food to look for, on the floor of the aquarium or stream or ocean, wherever they normally or naturally occur. So they use this light orientation, and they kind of right themselves. So the coolest video, when you go watch this, it's the rice fish, and they've got a camera on the control group and the aquanauts. The control group on Earth, the fish in outer space, same tank, built the same way. One in the effects of gravity in the Earth lab, one no gravity in the space lab. And to see the fish, it's so funny to see how much differently the fish in space swim. And it has to do with this orientation that they still don't have. They're just relying on this phototrophic sense that they have. And then, okay, let's take it to another step. The question's already been asked. Hey, Pet Exotics, good to see you, buddy. How do they feed? So the food, this is a high-tech aquatic environment. The food is loaded into the bottom of the aquarium with sliding doors over it. I guess they're watertight. And so at feeding time, it's like a multi-doored vault. You see the doors slowly open. And then the food just starts randomly floating in different directions. But the fish congregate. It comes up from the floor they congregate. And you see them, and you watch the side by side, exactly what you'd see in your aquarium, a school of little fish pecking at the bottom where the food is. The ones in space are just kind of, they're like in slow motion, like a drunk appearing, going around finding the food, eating the food. Pretty fun stuff. So they also, each experiment included eggs. So they hatched eggs and had fry on each of the space missions. So the fry, when they hatched, and I only confirmed this with the Japanese rice fish, the Medeka as they call them. The embryo hatched and the fry were already oriented properly. They didn't do the looping or some fish in different orientations. They had adopted as an embryo to where the light was. So they had this phototrophic sense at the time they were hatched. On one of the missions, one of the zebra danio missions, I think they took 12 or 18 fish. I think they took 18 fish and brought back 5 alive for continued study, which was unfortunate that they lost some fish, but outstanding that they had these fish that had been to outer space they could continue to study and learn about their bone density and so forth. It was pretty cool, Rodders. I mean, I really enjoyed doing the reading on this one. So the first aquanauts, I would have never guessed. I mean, what if that were your job? We're going to put a fish in outer space for the first time. You decide. What's it going to be? What fish are you going to send to outer space? It would be a fun project. I'd probably do a video contest giveaway. Yeah, so it looks like Sean wants to know if the fish died, how'd they remove it? Well, first of all, I don't know. But when you look at the aquatic environment, it looks like there are several chambers. I just described a feeding chamber, which is, remotely loaded. You load that thing, and then you seal it up, and then you can, it's remotely operated. Then you can operate these servos to open the doors. But it looks like that the aquarium has chambers. Okay, so like an intermediate wet-dry chamber that you could seal off and then use a tool or something inside the aquarium, then bring the tool back into the wet-dry system. I did get a hint at a water change and the way it worked, and you could remove lots of debris like this. I'm sure it was a tube that would be easy to seal around, like an air tube. And they had a bag of water. So I'm sure you could create a vacuum with an empty bag to pull water out. And if you had clean water, you could squeeze water in through a tube that would be easy to seal around. And that same vacuum mechanism, I guess, if the tube were right size, you could also remove a dead fish. I didn't read any reports of there being an ammonia spike. There were no water quality studies that I read. And the fact that they did go for weeks and they did feed, I don't think they could have gone without water changes. Do you? I think, can you imagine? I forgot to do the water change and all the fish in space died. Oh man. I had to go back to the LFS. It's only a light year and a half away. Pea puffer, says the Zen Ginger. Heck yeah. Oh my gosh, that'd be cool. Pea puffers in outer space. So guys, the first one of us that gets a ride on SpaceX, we got to negotiate to take our pea puffer with us. Am I right about that? Are we going to do that? Just got a message from Aquafunk. He's up in his game too. He's working on his YouTube channel, working hard. Proud of these guys. These people are trying to bring entertainment to the fish fam via the fish tube so we can be social. It's so important. We're finding out today, days like this. Yep. I can't talk to my neighbor on the porch. Well, I guess I could, but it's not like it's a routine thing now. You know, stand back, keep your distance. So I really admire these guys for working. Q Aquatics got a fantastic live stream. Aquafunk does a live stream. The Fish Tank Barn does a live stream, and we do one here. The community tank started following KG Tropicals, huge YouTube channel and a great source of information and education for fish keepers, from beginners to advanced people keeping all kinds of fish. Used to own a cichlid fish store primarily. And then King and Queen Cichlids, also fantastic. If you haven't seen their live stream, you owe it to yourself. Talk about fun. It'd be funny. Go to King and Queen Cichlid live stream and time yourself. See how long it takes you to smile. It'll happen before you know it. I get lots of encouragement and energy from all those channels. Great group of people. Love seeing them at the conventions and so forth. Most of them I run into there. Been to some of their houses. By some of their houses, I mean, I went fish store hopping with Scott and Liz of King and Queen Cichlids, and I did the same with John and Lisa. And I've been to John and Lisa's house and been a guest on their live stream. Hung out with others at restaurants as we go to these fish conventions, which are being postponed at the time of this broadcast. First aquanauts. The pick was, what's going to be the first fish in outer space? Okay. I mean, you could have guessed it. The first pick was goldfish. That's just a goldfish. Let's take a goldfish. I can get a goldfish. You can take my goldfish. I mean, I can imagine the conversation. So it was a goldfish. But the scientists studied as they tried to build the colony so they could have a control group and send a group. The goldfish wasn't tough enough. And I may have read something, I may be reading into this, but I think I read something where they did tests on how they would stand up to the zero gravity in centrifuges, much like they do our astronauts. And so the goldfish apparently wasn't tough enough. They had to make another selection. And I may be saying this fish's name wrong because it's a U.S. native saltwater brackish fish. It's called the mummy chog. Did I say that right? You guys know what I'm talking about? It's like a saltwater minnow. Kind of ugly, drab, but apparently tough. So it was selected to be the first aquanaut, and it launched on July 28, 1973 as part of the Skylab experiments. Let's see. Salt marsh So yeah, it's brackish, salt marsh mummy chog, and they sent 2 adults and 50 eggs. And that first experiment, their minds were exactly where ours. We're smart. We're NASA qualified almost. They wanted to know how the fish would swim in zero gravity, just like we did. So they figured out, okay, they don't. They swim in this loop and they go crazy and they float around like they don't know what to do till you give them a light. And then after a few days, they will turn their back to the light. Okay, so now that we know that, now we can pick other fishes that are more transparent, that we can see, do bone density study in real time, plus get photographs to study later, an ongoing experiment. So it's a neat progression of how fish basically saved the day and ruled the world, leading our medical knowledge that helps humans now. And we're not going to go on a tangent about that. I just thought it was cool that fish went to outer space. It's 11:47 now. We got 19 watching. 19 likes. Wow, guys, perfect. That's 100%. Thank you so much. Goldfish already have osmotic regulation issues. Imagine they wouldn't do as well. So true, Zen Ginger. Yeah, didn't work out. So, and then you notice these other fish that we're talking about, not very closely related. Cyprinids, I guess. Is that our carp? I don't know. Sometimes I study a little bit and learn that, man, I've got a lot of studying to do. The more I learn, I have to learn. You guys are great. Thanks for hanging in there with the old guy. I appreciate it. Hey, Jessica Spade, welcome aboard. Good to see you. Oh, gosh. Of the 50 eggs of the mummy chog that went up, 48 hatched. That's a pretty good hatch rate in space. Yeah, and they definitely saw the embryo did not struggle with the looping as they hatched. That as an embryo, they learned the light orientation. You want to see the crazy notes that I make? Yeah, and then you wonder why I'm disorganized in thought trying to conduct a live stream. Well, now you know. I think we hit most of this stuff. Do you guys have any experiences with the zebra danio? We got 10 minutes left to chat a little bit. Got through all the notes. If you left a question in the chat, I'm not following it. So I'm going to look now. Please repeat your question. Q Aquatics, they are amazing. KG Tropicals link there by the Zen Ginger. King Queen link by the Zen Ginger. And don't forget, I mentioned some other channels, the Zen Ginger. Aqua Funk, Q Aquatics, the Fish Tank Barn. Yeah. All working hard. All trying to improve their production quality, their content, their metadata. They're striving to bring the viewer a better product. And I applaud that. I admire that. It's very inspiring to me to see people do that. And as a community, when I look through effort like that at the community level, what I see is we're expanding our resources, we're learning things, and we're expanding our access to those resources. And that's the highest and best use of our time right now together, in my opinion, is to build a community, a safe space where everyone can play, everyone can participate, to construct a buffet where we can lay our options without being ridiculed or told we're wrong, and we protect each other. We don't allow trolls to take that away from us. It's a very valuable construct to have, a buffet full of options. If you see something you like and can learn from, take it. If you want to share it, get enough to share with others, invite others to partake. But if you don't like it, don't spit on it. Don't waste your time being negative. And besides, it may be what the next guy wants, okay? Don't spoil it for him just because you don't want it. If you like it, get what you need. If you don't, walk on by. Choose another option. Remember, we're building a buffet. There's lots of options. You don't have to waste your time hating and spitting and using venom, casting shade. Nope. Walk on by. Smile. Nope, not for me. Next. Oh, there's what I'm looking for. That's so good. I just needed that. Oh my gosh, Jessica Spade released a goldfish in the family pond. Oh my gosh. And the big bass was all over it. Well, hopefully that was a shocking experience that you've recovered from, Jessica. Now we've talked about it in therapy. We're not going to beat Jessica up. And chances are she didn't do that again. Hope not. You know, it wasn't so great for the bass either. We don't know what we're introducing parasite-wise. You know, I think even if you've got a microscope and you do scale samples from time to time, you can still miss things. So it's just not a good idea to be doing that. And I think Jessica Spade shared her story as an example of why not. So thank you for doing that, Jessica. And we've got the buffet of options open. We got people putting things out on the buffet in a safe manner because this is a safe space. We don't allow any bullying, and we certainly enjoy diversity. Speaking of diversity, you guys hang in here with me. I did a Facebook Live yesterday, and the diversity of the group was so amazing. This group, you know, we're fish keepers, all right? Facebook group, not fish keepers. There were some fish keepers in there, some fish tubers, some creators, but there was a beekeeper, there was a pastor, there was an alderman, a realtor, a cousin from Delaware, someone from Alaska, a biology professor, artist, old friends, new friends, friends from all over. Who else was in there? Well, no, never mind. It was an hour and a half ramble. I don't even sure if you're interested in all that, but the takeaway we kept going back to as a group was the diversity and how rich it was, and how diversity makes our life more beautiful. Not a bunch of grays, but a bunch of colors. And everybody brings something. Everybody brings a flavor, right? Everybody has something. Everybody has a gift or a talent or a passion. And when we create this safe space, this community for people to come and share, it is a beautiful space to be in. Thank you very much for being a part of my beautiful and wonderful community. It is a total life enrichment. And without you guys and this beautiful space that we're creating and maintaining and sustaining, man, it would be so much less wonderful. I would lose wonderfulment and immeasurable if you guys didn't have this community with me. So thank you very much, and let's hang on to this and protect it a little bit. Thanks, Zen Ginger, again for posting links. And so, speaking of diversity, I have recently started a couple of other platforms. You guys that have been around for a minute, you know I've got the River Life TN Instagram. Feel free to hit me up over there. Lots of fun nature activity going over there. Plants, fish, birds, hiking, fly fishing, if you go back far enough. Alaska, flora and fauna. Great friends, great times going on over there. Lots of links back to the YouTube channel here at River Life. That seems to be the hub. I'm launching everything, and then it kind of spokes out from there and then works as a conduit back and forth between the different social medias. So we have and you guys are all invited to the River Life Community Tank Live Facebook group. We get an hour or so here to hang out. Thanks again, the Zen Ginger. And then the Facebook group's open 24/7. So that's a nice place to hang out when we're not having this social time together. Go over there and ask to join. I'll let you in. Glad to have you. We're up to about 280 members. I'd like to get that thing to 300 members here quickly. So if you're not a member of the River Life YouTube channel, Community Tank Live Facebook group, there's your invitation. Go hit the request. Also, I started recently, a few days ago, the River Life Art Facebook page. I'm going to be doing some gatherings over there. We're going to get social over there. I'm going to be doing some art auctions. I've got the Etsy page too. Let me just run the list. The River Life Art Etsy page. You can get your 8.5 by 11 prints. We got several. I don't think that one's on there yet, the Endler's Live Bearer. But there's the Cardinal Tetras, a couple of discus options. Check it out on Etsy, River Life Art at Etsy. You can get your prints over there. I am doing a buy one get one. It doesn't say so on the Etsy, but when you buy a piece of art, I've got these little postcards on there too, so there's something for everyone. But when you buy an 8.5 by 11 print, if you'll mention in the notes a second one that you like, I'll include it. No extra charge. Buy one get one. Just mention, hey, I heard you say this on the live stream, and if you don't mind, I'd like to have this one. Boom. Or if you're a person of few words, just put the name of the other print in the little note. You have a chance to leave a message. Put it right in there for you. Also, I'll probably include a couple River Life stickers. All right. And we're doing the sticker jam. I have other YouTube channel stickers. If you'd like to have those, just say, hey, I'd like the sticker jam as well. And I'll throw in some of the other Fish Tubers stickers as well. But I don't want to give you, stickers that you don't want or don't think are cool. I wouldn't throw those on you. But if you ask for them, there you go. I'm shipping the product anyway. So let me know what you want there. The Jessica did something cool. I missed it. Yeah, KG Tropical, I gave him a art piece for his new fish room, and it was a special print. It was printed, I think we went with 16 by 20, and it was printed on the back of acrylic, like plexiglass, with about 1.5 inch standoff. So when you mount it against the wall, it pushes it off. It's just a flat piece of plexiglass, and the 16 by 20 print mounted on the back, and it stands off the wall. So that's what that was. And he maybe 2 live streams ago, he showed that thing. I was really pleased with the way it turned out. It was this print. Lisa, I was with Lisa when she got her discus from Hans Discus, and she wanted the ones that favored the wild discus. So I thought that was appropriate. And then when I saw their new fish room had blue walls, it was a no-brainer. Kind of a little fish room warming gift. So where was I? Yep. YouTube, River Life Art on Etsy, River Life Art page on Facebook. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in the closing minute here. And River Life TN on Instagram, and the River Life Community Tank Live Facebook group. All of those social medias, all feeding each other, a living organism. So when I do one piece of content, it can go out in many directions. Oh, River Life Art Patreon, brand new 2 days ago. Yesterday, I got my first Patreon. Our backs aren't against the wall here, are they? Someone going live at noon my time. I'm not gonna shut down on the dot here. I want to talk about this Patreon. I'm so excited about several tiers. River Life Art on Patreon. Was talking about it on Facebook Live yesterday. Got my first Patreon. Oh man, I'm so excited. So cool. And it's a community building thing. I'm trying to cultivate a group of art collectors that draw inspiration and already have appreciation for nature. And definitely doing the art helps me to appreciate and understand nature more. And in my life, when I do that, my life gets better, more beautiful, more wonderful. I think so. That's my passion. I think it will for anyone who collects the art as well. So we're building community in that direction for people who already appreciate nature and the art we derive from it. And there's several tiers there, and at the masterpiece tier, you'll get not only a print a month. Okay, so these are on sale Etsy for $19.95 right now. If you order on Etsy, you get another one free, but they're $19.95. So with the masterpiece tier, you get one of these a month. You don't have to pay shipping. I'll cover the shipping through Patreon, and access to a video series that I've started, and I already have 3 in the can of how to view modern art. I was well into my adulthood when I discovered that was a thing. I mean, I like art. I'd walk by a piece of art and I like that. I don't like that. I don't understand that. But when I learned that you can actually engage a piece of art and get more enjoyment from it, my world, guess what? Got more beautiful. It made my world more wonderful. So I'm passing along a perspective. If you do it different than the way I describe, you're not wrong. This is an and universe we live in, not an or. I give you a bridge from not really understanding, but wanting to engage art, modern art, contemporary art in particular, how to engage it so you can learn to appreciate it. Or to learn if you appreciate it or not. Leave it, walk on by, you remember. So it's a perspective in a three-part series of how to view modern art. And I draw from my experience, okay? I can do that easier than I can draw from yours, and talk about my journey and not getting it, not understanding it, to, oh, wow, look, I'm an artist. So I've been doing art for over 30 years. Talked to a lot of artists, been to a lot of shows. I've had solo shows. I've got another one coming up in June. It's going to feature a lot of this tropical fish art and also some local flora and fauna. So we're going to talk about communities here, communities there. I'll be able to discuss conservation, both locally and where our fish come from. Thank you, Project Piaba, for training me, basically, for putting all that information out there. Now it's not as if someone has to have never met me before and believe me when I say, well, here's a nice conservation group. They've done the work. They've built a platform that we can all go check out. And please do. ProjectPiaba.org is a wonderful group of people. And my art show is going to serve to promote conservation, both locally and in the tropical rainforest, which is a very delicate and sensitive habitat. So I'm doing good in the art neighborhood. And I want to bring you guys along. And I understand it's not for everybody. My feelings aren't hurt if this makes you nauseous, if you get dizzy when you look at it. I get it. But it's what I do. It's my thing, okay? It's what I bring. So there are some of you that dig it. You really do. And some of you, not sure. And that's okay. It's all right. And I was that guy. I'm not sure. So I talk about that in the video series and how basically it made a positive impact in my life. And now for the first time after doing art for 30 years, I've put words together on a platform that we've all built together, and I have a media to express this particular way how I made my world more beautiful. And in the meantime, I need to choose my words carefully here. There's no crisis. There's no stress, but I would enjoy selling some of my art. This is a way that I can do it while building community. You see, I'm wrapping this thing up into a collaboration already, and it could result in me selling some art, and that would be for a profit, okay? Not giving all this money away. Definitely will give some of this money away, especially to conservation groups of my choice. But none of that is mentioned right now. This is just transparency. I'm making a something and I'm selling a something to whoever wants to purchase it. And we're trading my goods for your currency. That's all that's going on here. If I decide to divide it in other ways later, and I probably will, that'll be something else. But right now, this is a sale, okay? I'm selling you. And I love it. I absolutely love it. Just the thought of being able to help others in a couple of different ways while helping myself to sell things for profit. And I glance over, I see a stack of small thumbnail paintings that I'm going to start auctioning on the Facebook River Life art page. Thanks, Rodders. I appreciate that. That's so cool. Zarek Farm, welcome aboard. I'm glad you're here. Oh yeah, I got passions, right? I got passions, Zarek Farm, and because they make me happy, so I'm left to believe they would make someone else happy. I turn the camera on. You guys show up. I hope you're loving this as much as I am. Cooley Kev, what's happening? Good to see you. I got some examples here I showed on the Facebook Live. I want to show you guys. So I'm going to let you in here, take a peek. Take a peek into the creative mind. Be careful. You might get hurt in there. Not really. It's just crazy stuff. Okay, so here's an example. I get an idea. I get inspired. Whatever artists do that provoke that creative sneeze when a creative product happens. Probably not a good metaphor today. Sorry about that. That creative expression that has to come out. So I was thinking, I got this art show coming up. I want to include some local fish to talk about indigenous biodiversity and conservation and make people's world more beautiful. So I know that in Tennessee, trout is a wonderful thing. Trout turns people on to conservation in so many ways here. We get these guys spending thousands of dollars on fly fishing gear, and they get their wives involved, and they find out, oh wow, that is a relaxing thing to do. And sometimes you find yourself in a spot where it's a wonderful place to have a glass of wine with your significant other. And the waiting, being in the environment, being out there in it, is so much different than hiking along the shore. I can't explain it. So trout, for me, my family, it's made a positive impact. I know in Tennessee, the only native trout is the brook trout. Okay, we have rainbow trout and brown trout, some lake trout, but this is the native. And if you Google that brook trout, you'll see, first of all, this is an abstract painting, abstract minimalism. If you're paying attention, you know these paintings are abstract. All right, that's a Bosemani rainbow fish. It's abstract, but the palette, I'm endorsed by nature. That's the name of my art show, Rat Cross Endorsed by Nature, because I paint from nature's palette, straight from the beautiful organism that nature gives us. So you'll look at the brook trout, and this is an abstract form, but the colors aren't far off. You'll see that, here's the beginning. There you go. I'm backwards here. The little color swatches. And I want to do a little sketch to see how the colors play, maybe get some spatial arrangement of the shapes rolling. Okay, but that's just, all right, now I've got a card. I've got a reference. Oh yeah, now I'm a colorist, in case you haven't noticed that already also. I see this and I'm like, yep, I'm going to pursue that as a project. Okay, so I put this in the project pile. It's already graduated. Then I go out into the painting studio. Here it is. And I do a little thumbnail, all right? A small canvas. Now, as far as the thumbnails goes, the one I'm going to show you is a large thumbnail. But then I do it. This is a canvas card, right? So it's 5x7. I start doing the same thing, allowing the process to continue, and see how it works with the paint instead of the marker. So you can see, I get that orient there. Sorry about the glare, guys. See how we migrate into a different shape form, but the palette kind of stays the same. The idea even changed as we went here. This quick, dirty thumbnail sketch, how the colors play really nicely. I'm going to do that. Out to the paint studio. Let's get some paint on a canvas. All right. I absolutely love this palette. Now I'm going to, this again, yes, it still works. Even with paint, it works. So this is going to become a project. It's in the project pile, and it will become a hangable sized art piece. Now, last week I finished what's going to be the centerpiece of the show coming up, called the Great Blue Heron. It's 4 feet by 2 feet vertical. So having a great time figuring out what to do with that until the show. That piece of art, 4 foot by 2 foot vertical, that guy needs some space. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, same thing. I could look through my deck of sketches here, and I could find a great blue heron. I could find some small little canvases, a great blue heron, and then I did a hangable size art, and it still worked. And so then I went full scale, 4 foot by 2 foot, and sometimes you see it changes the form. That's a behind the scenes of what happens. So then, you see what's going on here, right? Even the little postcards, okay? They're piling up. They're stacking up. I don't really need these anymore. They've served their purpose. I don't attach an archival value to them, but it might be something that you guys would like to collect as an art collector. You might want a thumbnail. So on the Facebook page, we can have little auctions. Everything's going to be low price. No one's going to get rich. No one's going to go broke. Just fun community time, and we can share some art, as a vehicle to make our life more beautiful. I lost chat again. You can, Candy, because you ask. I'm gonna have to bring the smaller one in. I can't bring. I can bring the large one in here, but you can't. You're gonna see a part of it. I can't move it up and down enough for you to see the whole thing, at least not at once. But I do have the smaller hanging one that I will retrieve momentarily so that you can see it. Trading cards, kind of like that, Jessica Spade. Let me use you guys as a straw poll. Okay, we got 21 people watching now. Some of you are active in the chat. Is that something you might be interested in? Or, you know, are you not that into it? There you go. I went to a show and I got I got a koi, and that's the inspiration. And my wife got a goldfish. Some of you have seen the goldfish. You're thinking, oh yeah, that looks like her goldfish, kind of not. And the koi won. I got a second place. I put 2 koi in the show, and both of them won second place in their division. I'm proud. I got some medals in the fish room now. Heck yeah. Jessica Spade's interested. The Zen Ginger's in. Okay, we're doing it. All right, we're going to do it. Before we leave, moderators, remind me, before we leave, let's schedule something on the Facebook page, okay? Don't let me get out of here without scheduling something. So we got these, right? And then we go to the small canvases. This one happens to be a canvas board, and it's large in comparison to these others. Let me give you another example. Okay, this one I really liked. I'm a colorist, guys. The peacock bass, it flipped the switch, if you know what I'm saying. I knew as soon as I lifted the last pen off of this paper, yep, that one's going in the project pile. Went out to the studio, laid some paint down. So this is a 2.5 by 2.5 canvas board. I love this. One of my favorites. All right, here's where we started. Got into the paint, went here. And I've got that one here. You want to see the hanging size of this? It's not on the Etsy yet, but I do have it hanging in the studio. Would you like to see that? Yeah, Rodders. And currently on the Patreon, I say I'm only shipping to U.S. addresses. If you want to pay the shipping, we can work something out. And hopefully there'll be a time where I can do some releases outside the States. It's not right now. We're kind of still on the launching pad, if that makes sense. Hillbilly Nomad, what is going on? Some Tennessee native stuff? You mean like the red-breasted sunfish? The red-breasted sunfish? The red-breasted sunfish? I'm just playing with colors. Yellow perch. I did one following the Facebook live stream. I did another one. I don't see it. Spotted salamander. Striking. Oh, here it is. Striking colors. Yep, so we got some native stuff. Yep, we're doing it. Did you guys want to see? All right, Rodders, I'll show it to you. Chevy fish, here's the endler. I've got an endler. It's not on the Etsy yet, and the glare is bad on that. Didn't help much, did it? A little better. I'm going to grab this painting. It's right here, if you guys will excuse me for a sec. Okay, so we call this an original. And so it tells you a little bit about the painting, the when, the what. I put that on there. It's a 10 by 20 stretch canvas, so you know if you're seeing it in its original form, if it's been removed or mounted or what have you. And here's what it looks like. I almost regret having that in the background now. It doesn't show well, but it's one of my favorites. And here's where we started. So just putting down some swatches. I knew this was going to become a project, and it is one of my favorites. I like it. So I actually sold an original. I've sold an original since I started this to Randy Reed of the Aquarius podcast and employee of the Aquarium Co-op, and he bought one of the Wild Discus originals. That was pretty fun. But that's a little bit of, that's a serious kind of investment there. But on the Facebook group, we're going to keep it small. So another way I do the thumbnails is on this tiny stretch canvas, right? I paint the edges. Sometimes I sign on the edge. These are not high quality canvas. Even though they're stretched canvas, they're a little bit loose. So, you know. And they come, if you buy one of these, they're available with a small easel, little display stand. And so these, you can, after you do a bunch of these, they start to stack up. You know what I'm saying? Here's one. Sometimes I just walk by my guppy tank and just watch guppies for a minute, and then my head is full of inspiration. And nature is better than picking the colors that I am. And then when I lay them down as an artist who considers himself a colorist, I'm very happy. I am happy. Here you go. See? That's part of a series that ended up in a series of prints, a series of originals, and one of the originals sold already. So you're just seeing the process now, and I thought it would be fun. Pam Earlywine, Punchy Paints, you guys have got to check her out. She's a hardworking mod around here. Thanks, Candy. She is a beautiful artist. She paints the realism that blows your mind. It's crazy. Surreal. It's so real. And the way she handles subjects and light. Check out Punchy Paints YouTube channel and the art, Pam Earlywine art. If you guys want to show those links, that would be fine. Is this the one you said you loved, Candy? Yeah, I got tiny easels to go out with these. Thanks, Candy, for that link. So these things are piling up, guys. We got to get them out there to you if you want them. So I went to the post office, and let me show you what I've done. I got these shipping envelopes, and so I put one in here and asked them if they would tell me how much it would cost to ship that, okay? So I got it packaged up. That you can't see it in there. It was actually one titled Killifish. And I asked how much it would cost to ship. So the shipping on these would range between, depending on where it's going, $3.80 and $4.20. So yeah, I think this is what I think. You guys give me some feedback. You're the straw poll again. All right, Candy. I'm just gonna earmark that one for you, Candy. The Zen Ginger, if you see one you're crazy about, let me know. You guys have been working so hard today. What my thought is to start the bidding on the pieces of art that are painted at $10 and include free shipping. So that $5 would reimburse me for my materials if it's sold for 10, and if I made an extra dollar or two, that's just the way it is. Thank you very much. But what do you guys think about a little art auction on Facebook where these things started at a $10 bid and went wherever they went? And I would include free shipping. Hey, Sand Creek, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, Rodders and Jessica Spade. I'm not saying you should learn to appreciate any type of art, but if you do, your world gets prettier. My world is prettier because I learned that, and I didn't know that until well into adulthood. And it was kind of shocking and mind-blowing. So in the video series on Patreon, I go through that and ask you to come with me so your world can be more beautiful. And probably I hope that's the draw. You're going to get a print If you're in the U.S., I'm going to mail you a print, but hopefully it's getting the art education is the draw to that tier level. It's not free. There is an investment on your part, a lot less than the tuition I paid to learn it. But, you know, we're building community for different, we have a different goal. We have different destinations. So no worries. It is what it is. So here's one that I did. And so I was discussing this one with Riverwife. I love this. And I love this not only because it's a beautiful painting that I like to look at. I know where the inspiration came. And I love this inspiration. But I was showing it to my wife who, you know, I include this in the video series also. I give my paintings a title that is highly suggestive. All right. So if I tell you this is an abstract minimalist painting, it's a standalone piece of art. It is what it is. But if I tell you the title is Bosemani Rainbow Fish, now as a fish keeper, you've got a straight path to a connection. Oh yeah. Oh, okay. And then you can enjoy it from that angle. So I don't want to start the term beginner abstract art because it's not that, but many abstract artists would not give a suggestive title. Okay. This might be green study. And the viewer, you're the boss. The viewer is always the boss. You decide what you see. You decide what you like, what you don't like, how much of a conversation you're going to have with a piece, how much of an opportunity it has to become your friend. But I finished this piece, and I went to talk about it with Riverwife. She was relaxing, and I said, all right, I want you to, and she knows me better than anyone. I said, I want you to think of what may have been my inspiration for this painting. We're big bird watchers. We're big fish keepers. We love all of nature and outdoor and all the creatures. And so I didn't give her any clue other than it was an inspiration. And here's the result. Do you have guesses? Okay. See, the Zen Ginger's always thinking about the holidays. A happy time. Sweet. All right. So you even see a time. Man, that's great. The holidays, Christmas, gifts, colors, family, meals. Ah, I love it. Gandhi, deep, going deep, love it. Okay, so my wife's first guess was ruby-throated hummingbird. Yep, she was thinking like the Zen Ginger, right? A bird. Ruby-throated, which many of, even though I give these things titles that come from the fish that inspired them, she sees birds in a lot of these painted bunting, she said. Okay, so she said ruby-throated hummingbird here. And it was like, yeah, right on. And guess what? She can enjoy this piece of art with that on her mind. It doesn't matter where I got it may be curious to know where I got the inspiration, but she's enjoying it, thinking that maybe a ruby-throated hummingbird was the inspiration. And I said, nope, that wasn't it. And she said, that's a tropical plant. No, I've seen that color scheme in tropical plants, and they're beautiful, and they make me happy, and I keep a lot of plants. That's not it. And so she said, is it a tropical fish? And I said, no. And she guessed a few more guesses that were direct inspirations from nature. But what it is a green anole. The little green lizard you see in Florida, and the males have the red dewlap on a striking white belly, okay, similar to the gecko. And one of our first trips in the field in Florida, I caught a green anole, and I had it bite my ear, and I wore it as an earring. And she turned around and flipped out. Who is this guy? Why does he have a lizard on his ear? That's probably how I got her. Oh, he's the guy with the lizard on his ear. But anyway, so this is an example there of how it doesn't matter what I title it or what I think. It matters what you think. Where does it take you? And then that's a curious indication there of where I might have gotten the inspiration. But for us guys, I'm getting to know us. We know a lot about fish. And if I get an inspiration from something you're already attached to, it's like a welcome mat to enjoying and appreciating art in a different way. And in my experience, when I was able to do that, my world got prettier. Here we go. I'm going to go get that great blue heron before Candy has to leave. Let's see. Oh, the woodpecker. You want to see the woodpecker, Recon? Iguana. Excellent. She did say, Riverwife said iguana. Let me show you the woodpecker. It's right here. Ginger Graves got a glimpse of this one and said rummy-nosed tetra. That's our big pileated woodpecker. It looks like the cartoon character Woody the Woodpecker. But yeah, I definitely can see rummy-nosed tetra there too. Fun painting. So, I'm going to go get the great blue heron for Candy. I'll be right back. I'm back. Jessica Spade, that is so cool. I'm so happy to have inspired you. Please do it. Yeah, don't discount yourself. You just do it. You do what makes you happy. See what's inside of you. Let it come out through the paintbrush. You might be surprised. And do it over and over. Maybe your first work isn't your best work ever. Keep doing it. Okay, so sometimes you know when a painting works. I love this painting. This is my opus. 30 years of art. This is the one. I hope you get that. This is a horrible way to display it. This is the great blue heron. And it has so much balance and charm and appeal. When I recreated this on the 2 foot by 4 foot canvas, it was a real moment. I loved it so much. So this is going to be the larger 2 foot by 4 foot is going to be the centerpiece of the art show in June. Yeah, and so these vertical paintings are difficult to recreate easily as prints. They're difficult. I'm working on it, and they're not difficult. It's just money, right? But it's difficult to print at an affordable price for me, and then I have to mark it up for a margin to get to you, and it's not inexpensive when you start doing irregular shapes, custom shapes. I think you get it. But this is probably my opus, my best work ever, and it's just it's the balance, it's the color. And if you know anything about birds, if you know the great blue heron, this is an easy painting to fall in love with. I can't explain it. It's that art mojo. It happens every now and then. And I'm going on and on about it. But the viewer is the boss. It doesn't matter my experience. I have a lot of confidence in that painting. It's going to bring a lot of happiness. And already has. Am I right? Thank you for the compliments, everyone. I appreciate that. It already has brought a lot of happiness. It's going to continue. But you guys get to decide what you like, what you don't like. And it's okay if you don't like the same things I like. It's okay. But because I'm the artist bringing the show, the things I like and have confidence in, guess what? They're the ones going out there. Now, for this show, I offered the gallery, if they want to get a focus group together, we'll pick what hangs. I don't mind having the show juror in that way. I'll have a couple of caveats, like this is going to be the centerpiece. It's going to be located here. And then as we fill in the gallery, then we'll let the focus group and the gallery owner take over. But that is what is going on. I really want to share this with you guys. It'll help me help you if we can start doing these little auctions. I'm looking at a stack of those little stretch canvases. They go up to like 3 by 4 inches. Like this size. And I can't just continue to pile them up without it becoming clutter, and then some of the happiness goes away. So I don't want to do that. You guys want to see you want a preview of the small canvases? You got kind of a preview of the thumbnails, and I don't know what we're going to do with these. I don't know if you guys are interested in that or not. Anybody know what a belted kingfisher is? That'd be a cool painting. It's in the project pile. One of my favorite birds is the red-winged blackbird. I did a painting. Oh, man, when was it? 2004? I have a large canvas of a red-winged blackbird abstract from years ago. It hung in our entryway on the river house. Everybody watch Birds at the Beach? You know what a northern gannet is? All right, ladies, here's a sneak peek for you. So I have these illusions of grandeur of maybe having a booth at Aquashella or something like that. So I've taken some of my paintings and I've designed dresses, some fashion wear from the paintings. Dress number 2, the Cardinal Tetra. I would love to see that on a runway. I would. Dress number 3, the Bosemani Rainbow. Dress number 1 is the Clown Killifish. Okay, so I want to have these dresses custom made, and I want my booth babes to wear them when I set up the art booth at the aquarium show. Dreams, baby, dream. Hashtag dreams. My dad, his career was in the fashion industry. He sold clothes, traveling all over Southwest Virginia, Northeast Tennessee, going to shows in New York City, Las Vegas. Back then, denim was king. Everybody was just learning to buy blue jeans. Unbelievable craze. Everybody wanted blue jeans. Anyhow, that is all going on. I'm going to give you guys a preview of this small art. Let's see, 17 of you still watching. You seem a little bit entertained. You're very enthusiastic. I'm taking a lot of positive vibe from you guys. So I'm still rocking over here. I'll clean up this little mess we've made with a few examples. I'm really glad it went this way. I wasn't sure if you guys would be interested in that or not. You know how artists are. We kind of second guess ourselves. See what I'm talking about? I mean, this can't go on. We got to do something. If it helps everybody, help everybody. We'll move them on down the road on a Facebook little auction. Remember the discus? The wild discus series? Went through some iterations. Listen to this line I'm going to give you. Oops, that's upside down. Do you know the viewer is king? You look at it however you want to. If I put a signature on the front, sometimes it gives you an indication, but you can't do it wrong. You do it the way you want to. There's a story of an artist who became famous. Goes into a gallery and sees a painting that he's attracted to, loves the colors, very rich colors. When he stepped back and looked at it, he recognized it as one of his paintings that was oriented differently than he had painted it. He didn't even recognize it right away. Different personality, different angles. Endler's Live Bearer. How's that going to work on canvas? Let me move some paint around on the canvas, see what happens. It became that. I'm interested in these artwork origins because one of the things you encounter in abstract art is, are you crazy? I mean, is that a bad dream you painted there? What is going on? And it's been that way for hundreds of years. That's the problem, okay? That's the problem that I'm addressing. The opening line of the how to view modern art is modern art might be a scam. It might be an insider's game that they're just mocking the rest of us with. But that's a dim worldview. That's a shady place to live. So I'm just turning the lights on. We don't have to live in that shade anymore, the unknown, wondering if we're being scammed. Okay, here's some. This is like, I would call this random. Yeah, no direction yet. Just where might I use these colors? If I did, how would they play? Learning a little bit about the paint. How transparent is it? That'd be random. All right, you decide. Do you like random? Maybe that gives you a headache. I don't know. Chevy Fist's already in with the I love the random. Okay, so I do too. I won't lie. We learn from every painting. It has some appeal. I don't know. I'm learning. It's an educational session for me, but I'm also trying to orient things in shapes and directions and colors that I like, and that's where we went that day. I want you to guess what that is. What is that? You don't have to. No, we're not guessing, because guessing implies there's a right answer. There's no right answer. How does this painting inspire you? Yep, then ginger, me too. Yep, opaque colors. Bam, love them. Let them collide together. The higher the contrast, the more positive energy for me. I love it. What the sunset on the river? How much prettier could it get than that? Your mind has already rewarded you for using it. Your mind is like, yeah, let me think something. And it comes up with sunset on a river or red-winged blackbird. Happy thoughts. I'm hearing a red-winged blackbird song like the Jeopardy song in my head now. It's awesome. Now, just so you know, I took this inspiration from the guppy tank. I'm looking at the guppy, and bam, there's my red-winged blackbird colors right there on that guppy. So what you're also noticing by now is that my art typically is a macro. I'm zoomed in where the colors collide. The fish are tiny. I want to bring them out to a 1 foot by 2 foot canvas, a 10-inch by 20-inch canvas. Doesn't matter what I think. It's just a point of interest, and it gives you a starting point. And from that starting point, understand, go where your mind wants to take you. Your mind has an idea. All right, so then the study continues. Yeah, now you can tell by this point, this is going to be a project, all right? I'm just working it out in my head. I'm getting some spatial ideas. Unsure. I love to do this. This is fantastic. And the only downside is this. Now I've got this, okay? And if I did that for every painting, and I could, and I would love it, and it would be beautiful, I'd have clutter. I'd work myself out of a workspace. We're moving them on down the line. I think if you bought that as a set, you could make a pretty cool collage. Put those puzzle pieces together any way you wanted to. That would be fun. Did you pick out one of these little things yet, Zen Ginger? Candy, did you change your mind yet? Okay. Oh, whoa, easy there. I have these little glassine slips I keep between the paintings to protect them a little bit. I'd rather you see my paint than my scars, right? Pretty good guppy study. And here's the other discus candy. You might like one of these better. I definitely had an idea, and you see the result. Jenga art, Chevy Fish. That's funny. Yep. Make a statue out of the stacks, for sure. Heck yeah. Any way you look at it, it's pretty cool. And they set up on their little easel nicely, too. I had the whole box of easels over here. I don't know what happened. Candy, I got you down for this one. Triptych. You got it. Talking art, Ginger. Is this the one you like the best, Candy? All right. Now I got these are easy to stick on things. You have two-sided tape. Put them on the easel. They're not really obtrusive. By the way, if you watch my video, Shrimp Capades, that cool little 1.5 gallon bookshelf aquarium with some blue shrimp in it, I did one of these small canvases. It's a 2-inch square. Don't see it square. Here's one. Nope, not it either. Yep, so one of these stretch canvases that's about 2 inches square of the blue shrimp. So, and it sits on a black easel right beside the aquarium in the living room. It's in the video. That was my point. You can check out the video and see the art in action, if you will. Any shrimp keepers in the house? See you later, Anthony. I saw someone say goodbye to you. Thanks for dropping in, buddy. Appreciate your support. I'm glad you're here with us. This is a weird one. Scarlet Batis. And that paint is, it's a metallic sheen. And depending on the light, sometimes it disappears. Sometimes it's very bold. Sometimes it all but disappears. You can see right through it depending on the light. It looks heavy. It looks like a very thin coat. It all depends on how the light hits it. If you're into Scarlet Batis. Here's one that didn't work out. It's the green tetra. Didn't make it to this is it. This end of the line for this painting. Worked on the sketch. I saw some movement and some energy that I didn't capture when it went, and maybe it's the matte color of the painting, but it went flat on me and I couldn't continue the process anymore. So this is one that did not go on to become a project. So in essence, now this is the original. This is it. This is the painting. It just happens to be 2.5 by 2.5. Got one more here. Opaline Gourami. That's what I'm working with. It would help me to get these into your guys' hands. Thank you so much. 14 of you hanging out. I love you guys. That is so amazing. You guys have been here for an hour and 45 minutes now. We've been talking about fish in outer space and modern art. Does it get any weirder than this for a fish channel? I don't have any regrets. I'm glad you're along for the ride. Thanks for trusting me to take you there. Turquoise rainbow fish. Have you seen that one, Chevy Fish? Are you commenting? Oh, I see. You see a turquoise rainbow fish. I did a painting of a turquoise rainbow fish. Have you seen it? Just happened to have a postcard of that guy. This is Riverwife's favorite. The old turquoise rainbow fish. I've got the postcard also in the wild discus. And you already know about the bosemani. So, I'm ready to fire up a Facebook auction. If we can get together on a time and just, we'll do the art chat again and we'll have some pieces available. I don't know. I don't have everything worked out. Probably it's going to have to be PayPal. That's the only way I know how to do it. Thanks for the Etsy post and the Facebook page post, Candy. That's where we're going to do it. Nope, Chevy fish. Nope. We're beyond that. That's all I'm saying. Gonna leave that right there. Just no. Anyway, where was I? Oh my gosh. My mind went blank. Typically, I'm a pretty fart smeller. To continue the chat pun there. See, Chevy Fish is already getting preference. Chevy Fish knows what she likes, how she likes it. It is all good. Basic idea. Go to Facebook, do an auction, and have the money transferred on PayPal. That's the only way I know to do it. And then I ship the fish to an address you provide me in a private message. Does that work out? Is there a flaw? Am I missing a flaw there? Free shipping in the U.S. I see other people doing that on Facebook. I see them doing it on YouTube as well. I'm not so sure about upsetting the YouTube channel. I don't want YouTube coming down on the channel. There's too much to risk there. And since the Facebook page is brand new, there's not as much risk. So I thought we'd try it over there. I did the Facebook Live yesterday on my personal page. I couldn't get the live to fire from the business page. But everything seemed to work well. The crowd engaged. The chat was okay. The audio, I did it on my mobile. So I used the earpiece. I used the earbud. That's right, with the mic. So the audio was okay. Nothing. I mean, you understand that when you see this, it's going to look a little differently in your hand because the light's different here. The camera's interpreting colors. It's going to be a little bit different. Excuse me. Not going to be a great deal different, but it's going to be a little different. On the prints, I have to explain to people, I have to push the color on the print, the digital image, because the ink dries darker on the paper. So it's going to be a little bit different in print form than in original form. But I need to let you know that, but it's not a big deal. It doesn't transform. The black doesn't become gray, so to speak, all right? The red isn't purple. It's a little bit of tonal difference. So, Chevy Fish says, she's the flaw. No Facebook, Etsy, IM, etc. This here is it. I'm SOL. Well, actually, you're not, Chevy Fish, because right here, you've already seen a preview of everything that's going to go down on Facebook. So if you want to participate, there are lots of friends here in the chat. You could have a proxy. Many people don't go to auctions. They send a proxy and say, here's my budget. Here's what I like. If we can get it for that, great. So you just attend by proxy. It's not a problem. Actually, there could be some additional community building there. Who knows? Thank you for mentioning that, though, because I hadn't thought about discussing that. And then also payment by proxy. Work it out. There was a guy ahead of me in the grocery store the other day, and the power just blinked. Okay, it went on and off, and then no registers using cards. Nobody can use a card. Nobody's carrying cash these days. And so now I got this long line. I said, hey, man, let me let you borrow what you need to get the rest of your groceries. Oh, no, I'll just go over here to the ATM. I know you will. Let's get this taken care of. You can go to the ATM. If you take a dash for the door, I'm not going to chase you, okay? Let's just work this out like people come together and do when things need to be worked out. So, and maybe there's somebody, like-minded in the chat that wants to help somebody. I'm asking for art patrons. I mean, there are ways to collaborate, and there are ways. Sometimes it involves an exchange of currency. Oftentimes it doesn't even involve that. But I'll tell you this about art. For hundreds of years, there have been art patrons. Great artists were not recognized as great usually when they were alive. It wasn't until they died and everyone recognized, well, can't get any more his work, her work, and then the prices went through the roof. Can't commission them anymore. So they had to have patrons to buy their rent and their food and their paint and their canvas. And but they were part of a community. That's what they did. That was their offering. So people did that. And every community member is different. Every community member brings something. We all bring something. And our something has value. It's just being in the community and figuring out who values what you bring and how they value it. All of a sudden, we've had an hour-long conversation about modern art. Some of you have already been converted. Oh, well, that makes sense. It can be just colors. It can be, I don't like that. Or it can be, wow, that takes me to a place that I like to go. Now, if I look at this other piece, it might take me to another place I like to go. Oh, yeah. And our world's more beautiful. Let's figure out who we are, what we've got, how we can best share it. That's the highest and best use of our resources. It's sustainable. We keep mining. We keep bringing resources. We got a safe place. We got the buffet of options is our vault. We're going to protect it. It's a safe space to share. Candy's ringing up that Patreon link. Thank you so much. Yeah, thanks, Recon. I enjoyed the Facebook Live. So let's get a date. All right, we're going to try it the way I described it. When do you think would be a good time? I mean, we've had up to 20 people in here at this time weekday. I want to do it this week. Okay? So maybe even so this week, that gives today, tomorrow, and Friday. Not going to do it on the weekend. 3 days to choose from, and before 5 o'clock. Maybe get a bigger crowd. I'm not necessarily interested in a bigger crowd. You know what I'm saying? You guys would be great for this first time. Plus, you'd get more choice picks, I think. So if we're talking about... No, I'll let you decide on that one, Ginger. It was a Jack Dempsey. It was a Jack Dempsey. Today, tomorrow, Friday, before 5 o'clock Eastern time. So it's going to have to be at least 11 o'clock because that would be 9 o'clock out west. So let's say between noon and 5. Maybe noon's a good time, noon Eastern. Even if you're having to work, you could get a break at noon. How does that sound? Does that make sense? Noon Eastern. 3:30 Friday. I'm okay with that. We'd have to shut her down around 5. If we did develop an interest and we're going, we'd have to stop at 5. I'm thinking more along the 12 o'clock. That's past us today. 15, the numbers are going up here. Today's still not off the table. We could just switch over to Facebook and do that. All right, show of hands if we did that. If we just shifted right now, if we closed this down and went to Facebook, how many of you guys would go over to Facebook? Yeah, the whole world is optional for me, Ginger. So there's so many things to decide. All right, Candy, thank you so much. She can promote at 12 on Friday. Okay. Would anybody go to Facebook now? Can we get a shift? The numbers are going back up here. 16. I understand you can't, Chevy Fish. You'd have to establish a Facebook account. I imagine it would be similar to establishing your YouTube account. Or if you've got account problems and you can't get in there, that would be a thing. So yeah, along the way we've got to figure out how to keep Chevy fish involved. And I think, okay, so here's what Cooley, awesome. Here's what I want to do. Here's what I want to do. I want to schedule some art time for us on Friday at noon. So Candy, if you want to go ahead and put that out there, we'll be using Facebook. I'm going to try to figure out the technology to go live from the Facebook business page. And we're going to accept payments on PayPal. And I'm going to offer free shipping in the U.S. Friday at noon. But in the meantime, I think I want to go over there now and see. Yeah, it's no problem, Chevy. We'll figure it out, because with time in advance, Chevy, what can happen is I can post a picture of what's going to be auctioned. If you see something you like, then we can figure out a proxy for you. Hey, I like that one. Here's my budget. Buy it as cheaply as you can within my budget. And then we'll work out a method of payment there also, Chevy. So yeah, I want to go over there right now and see if we can get anything cooking, see if we can learn anything, and then really promote the Friday. So we'll kind of do you guys will get a behind the scenes first pick impromptu pop-up art store opening today, and then Friday at 3 we'll promote the thing over there and see how we go. The Zen Ginger said, just let Candy pick. Because, of course, that would work out perfectly. And I think she has. I think that was a nice suggestion. Boom. Noon Eastern, yes. Yeah, if we don't do noon Eastern, if we wait till noon Pacific, then it's later in the afternoon. Kids may be getting restless. They're all at home. Okay, Chevy Fish said that she's got Adobe and that her fish club had an online meeting. It was great. So there's a learn. These are strange times, but there's a learn in these strange times. All right, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to wrap this thing up in 2 minutes, and we're going to head over to Facebook, River Life Art Facebook page. So if you guys don't mind, if you plan on going, you're invited. I hope you do. No problems if you don't. Thank you so much for giving me a couple of your hours today. I really enjoyed this stream. I like the format. It's looser. We talked about so many interesting things. So thanks for coming along on this one. If you'll go over to the Facebook page, River Life Art Facebook page, start clicking the clicks. Like, follow, whatever you do on those pages, and leave a comment so I know you're there if you're able. If you're lurking and working, I get it. No worries. But if you can, click the clicks and leave a comment. Some activity on that page would look nice. And if you're able to engage in a discussion, somebody wants to post something and you want to talk about the art you already seen, or you're excited about trying out this new art auction thing, feel free to put words like that on that page. That might be beneficial to people who land there and wonder what's going on. It is 1:00 p.m. here in beautiful downtown Mountain Home, Tennessee, and I've loved hanging out with every one of you guys. It's been a wonderful show. I hope all of you guys checking out the replay will have as much fun as we did when it broadcast live. Until the next one, why don't you guys get out there and see it, love it, and live it.